Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Chariots of Fire. And this movie came out in 1981, and it won Best Picture at the Oscars in the year 1982, because it's 1982 Oscars for 81 films. That's just how they work. There were things that I liked about this movie, but all in all, it just felt very Oscar baity and just not for me. And not that a movie like this can't be my cup of tea, but there was just nothing really here for me, and I really tried to get into it. There were things that I liked. I liked the racing scenes when it was not using slow motion, which wasn't a whole lot, but more on that later. Acting was good. I liked the music. I liked the Chariots of Fire theme. I always found it to be catchy and also memorable. The movie did get better as it went along, and by better I mean just by a little bit, because the first 15 to 20 minutes I found to be kind of a mess because we were cutting to like 3 different locations over the course of that amount of time, and the focus just felt a little all over the place, and I didn't really understand what I was supposed to be focusing on, and also I didn't really do a very great job, in my opinion, at establishing who the main character was or main characters were. So it took a bit of time to really get into it, but eventually that was established, and the movie just kind of got a little bit better from that point on. And there were points in this movie that did remind me of other movies that I like a lot more. And usually when that kind of thing happens, it's because I'm just really bored. Especially because I wasn't really invested in anything. I don't hate the main characters in this movie. Their motivations are clear, but I just didn't really care all that much in terms of the story and the way things were presented. It just felt very stretched out and unnecessarily long. And I just don't feel as though the 2-hour runtime was justified, really. And my biggest issue with this movie is that although it does establish what it's trying to be very well, the film just gets really repetitive after a certain point. Like, oh, we have main characters who want to accomplish something, and then they're just kind of competing with each other. We get training montages, and then eventually we get racing scenes, and then we have characters who are like dragging them down, saying like running isn't gonna lead you to a great end or anything, or like you can't be doing this thing for that reason. And that's the whole movie, and it just constantly repeats itself. And I was just thinking to myself, man, if you had just one of each scene of the things that I just mentioned, you can't do this because of blah, 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 blah. Well, one scene of that, and you had one scene of a training montage, one scene of characters being established or relationships being established, and we had all the racing scenes in the movie would be no longer than 40 minutes. And I just kept thinking of that in the second half of the movie, and I'm like, this movie is just wasting so much time, and I was really hoping like the racing scenes were going to be great because it was like the only thing that was really had me excited. It had me like, I'm sitting here waiting for something, some payoff. And the way it's handled was not all that impressive. The slow motion was annoying, and I just felt as though it wasn't appropriately used, and also it was overused to the point where it was distracting. And also, my biggest criticism for these scenes, and this is a problem throughout the entirety of the film, is that there's too many close shots. I can't really see the location of where we're at, and this is a big problem in the racing scenes because sometimes it only focuses on characters' heads, and you can't really see much of anything outside of that. And I'm just thinking to myself, what am I supposed to be really seeing here? I get to that this one person is really exhausted and giving it their all, but it would be so much more effective if A, we could see everything that was around this character, and B, if you could just let us experience the race without slow motion. Why do you need to do that? And I also didn't really find any of the conflict in the movie to be interesting. It's just what you would expect, and the movie plays out exactly how you think it's going to play out, and it was an Oscar baity film, which is, I guess, decent overall, but there's a good chunk of the movie that I just find to be incredibly dull. It just it turns the film into a bland Oscar bait film. I found about half of the movie to be entertaining and the other half to be really boring. And I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I know this is a huge classic and a lot of people really enjoy this movie. I really tried to get into it, but there was just nothing for me here, and this overall was just not a movie for me. So if you like this movie, more power to you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed this movie or love this movie. So don't let me stop you from enjoying it. I'm personally never going to watch this movie again. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Chariots of Fire a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Chariots of Fire, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The American. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.